Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo LeBay. We're going live today because again, there's an issue with BeLive, but at least I can chat with Neshi because I know what it is. Or at least I have a good idea of what's going on and why it's not working. So here I am. Welcome to the broadcast. Today is all about elemental energy, and that has its own flavor. So I'm going to give a few moments for people to come on over live. If you're here, write in the comments that you're here so that I can see you and connect with you, because that's how this thing goes. When we go live, it's often hard, and in BeLive we have a stronger studio. That's why we like to work with it. But here we are. And of course, it's the last day of Mercury in retrograde, so maybe just everything will fix itself tomorrow. Who knows? But here I am. And so we're really close to the holiday season. And one of the things that happens or happened as part of this holiday season is that we have a lot of obstacles and challenges that get brought up when we get around relatives and when we get around people that we know. So when that happens, it's really cool if we know some strategies that we can use. And I know some of you may have watched Julie Hedges' show last night. She talked about a few of her own. But my team wanted me to talk to you about using the elements because they're easy to see, they're easy to remember, and sometimes easy is what we need. So hello, Lisa. Glad to have you in the house. Thank you for sharing the love. I'm glad you're full of love here. So yeah, if you guys could like and share the broadcast and some people could know that we're here, that would be super. But at least I'm pretty sure I know what's going on with BeLive. And it would probably be an easy fix on their end. So that's exciting because I think I have it figured out. So here we are, a week before Thanksgiving. And so we really are beginning to notice and feel some of that holiday energy. Sometimes it hits us right after Halloween. But others, as we get close to preparing for gathering together with family and friends, we can feel some old things coming to root, old things kind of activating that maybe we'd rather not bring into this holiday once again. And I know for me, that we have a lot of traditions that will trigger emotions or years gone by. Even when we try to do something new, in the doing something new, we are often feeling the loss of the things that we used to do because holidays often are about tradition. Most of us do the same routine over and over and over again at the holidays. So when there's a shift in our routine, it can really impact us, and it can impact us on a really base energetic level. And that's why, our elements are within us and around us, and they can help restore balance. And sometimes that's the best thing that we can do in the holiday season. Hi, Tina. Glad to see you here. If you guys are in the house, just say hello. I'm not in the same, we're not in the BeLive studio today again, but at least I'm pretty sure I know why. And I just didn't even try to fuss with it. Once it wasn't working, I just didn't even bother. But I can have a chat with Neshi, so maybe she can help me out with it. I think I know what's wrong. So welcome to the show. We're going to talk about elemental energy. And elemental energy is really old. And that's why when we're dealing with family and generations, sometimes it's the old traditions, the old energy that really works well for us. So we have the elements of earth, water, fire, air. And some people even talk about the ethers. And the ethers is for me, I experience that as spirit, our sense as spirit, our connection to spirit. And in a chakra sense, it's connecting to our higher chakras, or the chakras that are most closely connected to our divine essence. But those base chakras, those basic, that earth one, earth, water, fire in particular, they can be a nuisance. They can be difficult for us to navigate, and really hard for us to get there. So hi, Andrew. Hi, Christine. Glad to have you. So let's start with the earth element, because that one you hear all the time about, right? So it's all about grounding. It's all about, it's about our root chakra. And guess what? Family is really locked in there. So one of the things that can happen is when we run into family and we have an old emotion, an old energy get triggered, the first thing that happens is we get a little ungrounded. We feel unsteady. We feel less relaxed and confident. We might even feel a little agitated. And when that happens, the first thing is we've gotten a little ungrounded. So, you may not have time to, in that second, get yourself grounded, but I highly recommend, running into the bathroom, well, not running, but saying, hold on a second, I have to use the restroom, I'll be right back. Going in the bathroom, and even if you don't go to the bathroom, just really take a moment to take a few deep breaths, get yourself grounded. And even just running the water will start your water flowing again as well. The really cool thing about connecting to the earth element, keeping ourselves present, not getting pulled into past holidays or past connections with our family, being present is, like I said, that grounded energy. One of the best ways to stay grounded is to eat root vegetables, and most families serve root vegetables at the holidays, especially Thanksgiving. All of you people who can still eat potatoes, do that. Me being allergic, that runs into a problem for me, but my family will have carrots and butternut squash and pearl onions kind of like mixed together. So we make we might even put in like rutabaga or turnip or something like that. But we mix together the root vegetables, and we have root vegetables. That allows everybody to get back in their body. So that's a really good thing, because when we're in our body, we're more able to just breathe and be in the moment rather than reacting to the past. Like the last time Aunt Bertha, said, when are you going to get married? You don't have to be in last year or the year before when she bugged you about it, but you can be in this year and have a brand new reaction, a brand new response. And you don't have to be triggered by it. You can maybe joke about it and be able to say, you are so predictable. Thank you for asking me that. The answer hasn't changed, but it's so nice that you keep this tradition of asking me up. So it doesn't have to be all of that. It doesn't have to be a hard interaction. We don't have to dread things that, those patterns that we know our family is going to fall into. So earth, big time. Do your best to keep your feet on the floor. That will help as well. Our connection to the earth is pretty important. I also do my best to sit in chairs that are wood, that have wood legs on the bottom because the wood will help ground. Metal chairs, metal is a little bit higher in the connection, so it can actually kind of ricochet energy around. And for me, that's not always the easiest thing to deal with. So I do my best to be in a wooden chair, or I sit right on the floor. But the great thing is most dining room chairs are wood. And tables are wood, so you can make sure to put your, I know you're not supposed to put your elbows on the table, but put your arms on the table and allow yourself to ask the table to help you with your earth element. You can also use red as an indicator of helping you ground. So if you're feeling yourself sort of sliding out of your body with your family, focus on something red in the room and just take a couple of deep breaths and ask your root chakra to just expand to be able to ground you more completely. And as my team has been showing for the past few weeks, remember, sometimes it's helpful to use your heart to ground because it's a lot harder to sort of knock the heart out of sync. But, the holidays are the holidays. Family knows how to push our buttons like nobody's business, right? So that's really all about the earth element and how it is in our body and what we can do to balance it. So the second element that we use is our water element. It's in our second chakra. It's all about our flow, but it's also how we connect with other people, how our relationships flow, how conversation flows. And that there's people that you can just talk to for hours, and other people where you dread it. Right? You dread having the conversation. You feel that, I've got to deal with them again. And when that happens, it's really about, you don't have a good ebb and flow where one person listens and then the other person talks and it's an even exchange, right? You're not going to change people on Thanksgiving or during the holidays. All you can do is take care of you. So if there are people that have difficult conversations that really impact your energy and how calm you feel, then politely excuse yourself or just avoid sitting close to those people. So for me at Thanksgiving in particular, we have someone who's older. It used to be a couple. There used to be 3 of them. Now there's one who all they did was talk politics and just in loud, angry tones. And it's not that we don't have the right to have that, but I like my house filled with joy and love on the holiday season. That's just where I'm at. It's all about connection, having fun. I like to make the most of my time with my family. I like to play games with them, eat a good meal, catch up with people. But I don't want to feel dread, and I don't want to be dragged down. So last year, I set this boundary where there was no arguing. So no holiday arguing. I put a ban on arguing in my house on the holidays. So if they couldn't resolve their differences, they had to agree to disagree and walk away from the conversation. Take a couple of deep breaths and go, okay, we're not going to resolve this today, so we're going to let it go. Because I'd rather have love and light and fun with you than to argue with you for an hour. One person didn't take that so well, but everybody else did, because everybody, breathed this sigh of relief. And so in that water element, when that kind of thing happens, and if you're not the one hosting, you don't have a lot of control over that stuff. So you get to choose who you're going to communicate with, who you're going to be in relationship. But when you're having trouble with that, how do you connect to your water energy? It's that second chakra. You want to imagine that orange color flowing brightly between you and the other person. And you can actually picture that. You can picture your second chakra just below the belly button, theirs just below the belly button, and just imagine there's this infinity symbol that's going back and forth that's orange between you guys. And ask for that to be brought into harmony. That can actually work. And the other things that can help you with your flow is to drink plenty of water. You know, lots of times we're not good at drinking water during the holidays because, you know, there's beverages that go with things, and sometimes those beverages are dehydrating. Caffeine is dehydrating. Alcohol is dehydrating. So we need extra water when we're having some of those beverages. So make sure that you're using things that are beverage, that are water. And it doesn't have to be water specific. It can be anything that your body registers as water. So cool thing is cucumbers and like iceberg lettuce and celery and grapes and watermelon. Those are all things that have a lot of water in them. So our body reads it as water, so we can use that to help us as well. And you can think about, you know, things around the room. You can turn water on, go in the bathroom, like I said, run the water for a minute and just connect to your flow, connect to the water so that you can feel more in sync and more in balance. And then, you know, the third element is all about fire. And that's our personal passion, that's our desire. But boy, when that's in the shadow, that can activate all of our all of our anger, right? Because when those old emotions get fueled, the old emotions come through along with the new ones, and that's why we call it a trigger. One, because we react like a trigger point, like we're pulling the trigger rapidly. We fire off things and wish we didn't wish we didn't say that, or wish we could have controlled that. That's when we're reacting to old energy. When you have a moment to breathe before you respond, then you're more likely in the present moment, or mostly in the present moment, not in the past. And I'll tell you, like I said, last year when I set the boundary on arguing in my house during the holidays, I had to breathe really deeply and set the boundary, and then set the boundary again, and then set the boundary again, and then set the boundary again, for it to become clear that this was how this was going to go for in my house. And that's the other thing about, you know, the second chakra is boundaries. You know, some people don't, if you don't like to be touched, then say so. You don't have to hug everyone if you don't want to. You don't have to kiss everyone if you don't want to. And if you have a handsy uncle, you can tell him to back the heck up. And the only reason I say that is, you know, my husband had an uncle who was a little bit handsy. You know, not a good thing to try with me, even when I was, you know, in my late teens. I didn't have any problem with that boundary, but nobody else had ever said it with him. And, you know, he was surprised, but he also respected that. And I didn't act like, oh, well, it was just, you know, Uncle Andy and how he was, you know. I was like, no, I don't care how you are. My boundary, myself. So the hard thing is the fire element is one of the elements that, because it has to do with how we feel about ourselves, because it has to do with old feelings of less than, or not feeling worthy, or not being seen or heard by our family, We can have some old resentment that's in there. We can have old judgment of people and how they behaved in the past. And we bring all of that laundry with us to the dinner table. But if we can remember, hey, that's the past. I don't have to carry that luggage with me. Then your fire has a chance to burn at an even pace. And then if you get angry, it's going to be angry because of what happened right here, right now. Not because they looked at you sideways the way they looked at you 3 years ago when they said something mean, right? Because like I said, family knows how to really get those bubbles going. So generally during the holiday season, we want to keep our fire down around our family members. We're not trying to amp up our fire to do something and push through something. That's what we might want to do with a project. With family, we often want to keep control over our fire so it doesn't burn out of control, so that we don't yell and say things we don't mean. Well, we might mean them, but we say them in ways that maybe don't come out as nice as we would like. So keeping that fire down, we want to stay away from those spicy foods that kind of fire us up. The hard part is that also means we want to be kind of low on how much fat we're taking in, because fat makes us burn really hard. And that can be hard to avoid at the holidays, but just sort of make some conscientious choices. And you guys all know that alcohol will flame the fire, will spark it up. So consider what's the right dosage for you? That's how my team wants to say it. What is the right dosage for you to have? And maybe it's none, and maybe it's, a glass of wine, or I'm only going to have a glass of wine after I eat. Because remember, you're pouring alcohol on a fire. We all know what that does, right? And that's actually what we're doing in our physical body. When we put alcohol in there, we're pouring alcohol onto the fire. So if there's nothing else in there, whoosh, it's going to go, right? So to remember how to keep your fire in balance, remember you want to think of that yellow color, and you want to think of a calm, sunny day. You might have candles nearby to help you think about slow and steady fire and how that feels. I like the visuals. So I tend, at my own house, because it's easier at your own house, I have all the elements. Here I'm giving away my secret, but it's all right. Most of my family doesn't watch my show. But I'll have elements of I'll have all of the elements represented in my decorations. So I'm going to have, I often use seashells or sand, or I'll put water, candles floating in water. And I will use the colors to help keep things grounded, right? And so the natural decorating is huge. So you can have like twigs around it and moss, and you can have a bowl with floating candles. And the candle can represent the fire, but it can also represent the air, or you could stick a few feathers in there to represent the air and birds. And you can just have that on your table as a centerpiece. You could put it off on the side as like a decoration. And other people don't have to know why you're using that. So it's just an idea. And I did this thing this year. I've always wanted to do it. It's artificial, but it's, I got a very narrow, tall tree that's kind of like it's called rose gold. It's not like gold. And I decorated it for Thanksgiving. So I put actual twigs and leaves, and I put pumpkins, and I have the yellow and the brown for the grounding, and some of the maroon color. So it's like gold and maroon and brown. I have leaves, and I have some basic ornaments, but and like little artificial pumpkins that I have on the tree branches. And I have like kind of like a burlap fabric on the bottom. And so one of the really cool things is for me that it's right next to the Thanksgiving table. It's right in the room next to it. It is a visual reminder for me about staying grounded, keeping all of my energy in balance. And I have a number of water elements that I'm going to have on the table. That's not that hard to have a pitcher of water on the table for everybody, because I want to encourage people to drink water while we're there. So it doesn't have to be hard. And my holiday, my Christmas tree, because I celebrate Christmas, I tend to do all the ocean stuff. And again, I have like driftwood, and I have, you know, some of the bird feathers, the gull feathers, but I've got the shells that represent the water. And next thing you know, we're all in balance on my tree. And again, the tree is the focal point, right? And people see it a lot, they look at it. So it's also sending a message to people who aren't connected. So that's what happens. Oh, hi, Neshi. I'm glad you have internet again. Sorry it was down for a couple hours. I have this really cool thing to tell you about why BeLive isn't working after. So, and Diana said, I know all about that fire. Yeah. And there's certain families where fire is how you communicate. I have some lovely friends who are Portuguese and who are Italian, and that's how their families communicate sometimes, is through a lot of fire. So staying grounded, staying centered, and keeping in your own energy field, the boundary of this is my energy, that's your energy, that can be really important. But when we call in the elemental energy, we're balancing our lower chakras, and the heart chakra holds the air. And so that's why we tell you to breathe. You know, make sure that you're breathing. Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, blow out. Maybe not in front of all of your relatives, but again, sometimes you can take a moment off to the side. And if you can't, the bathroom is always a good excuse to take a moment to step out, even if you don't have to go, and just run the water and just let yourself get grounded, get the water energy to come in and help you take a few deep breaths and really focus on that. So, hi, Lindsay Jean. Glad you're here as well. Good morning, Molly. Glad to have you. So using our elements is really all about being mindful that we don't have to go into these situations and have it be the same old thing that it's always been. We can only control our own energy. We can't control anybody else's. But if we keep our elements in balance, if we don't shut down our water, we let our water flow, which is hard because that has our emotions in it. And, you know, some of us are big feelers, so we might want to cry or something like that. And, you know, if you need to cry, cry. But again, if you need to step outside, if you need to step into another room, then do that. But allow your energy to flow as much as you can and call on the elements to help you. And because sometimes it's hard to remember the chakra colors and what they do. But it's really close to an upside down stoplight. So if you remember that red is at the bottom, near your tailbone, orange is near your belly button. That's the one that gets forgotten the most. But that yellow is the yield, right? Is the fire. And with family, how often do we actually yield? Do we maybe instead step on the gas and try to blow through? So maybe just think about it that way. How is my car driving today? Do I maybe need to take my foot off the accelerator? Because this might go fast where I don't want it to. And then green is about go. Okay, when you're in love energy, go. Be love, share love. Even if it's something that your family's not used to. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means, be you. And generally our discomfort at being ourselves around family is because we're worried about their past reactions. And we're not allowing any space for them to have changed either, which, can happen. But, don't make any assumptions about it. You just take care of you. So we're going to stay grounded. We're going to do the best to keep our energy in flow. Communicate with people that we can communicate easily with or that will hear us. And when we're having trouble with that, what are we going to do? We're going to drink water. We're going to drink water, or we're going to eat foods that have a lot of water in them. We're going to eat those root vegetables to make sure we're nice and grounded. And we're going to stay away from fatty foods or spicy foods that really can set that fire energy going. Plan accordingly. You're always welcome to bring something of your own to share it because you need it, So if you bring something with you to an event that you've got to go to, that's going to help you remember to stay grounded and calm, then do that. The Southern, a lot of the Southern traditions, again, this isn't something I can eat, but, there's a lot of you out there, nuts are also very grounding. And so I'm thinking about pecan pie or sweet potato pie. Yeah, there's sugar in there, and you want to watch out for that, and fat. But you can ask that food to help you ground. You can ask the water to help you ground. And again, we're going to remember that alcohol on a fire makes fire go more. So we're going to think about whether we're going to put alcohol in our body without anything else in there, because then it's going directly on our feelings. It's going directly on our anger. It's going directly on old emotions. Maybe not the best choice. And if you have a family that tends to have drinks before dinner, then maybe you make appetizers that are grounding, that you invite people to have, because that can be a way for you to encourage other people to be more grounded. Does that make sense? Hi, Minnie. Welcome. We're talking about using our elemental energy to get us through the holiday season. So when we have all of our elements in balance, then we're able to connect to the ethers. We're able to bring in the divine spirit. And remember, as we inspire, as we breathe in, we're making room for spirit to come in. So if we're having difficulty, when we want to blow out any frustrated air, and then take a deep breath and allow spirit to come in. Again, step outside if you need to. Those are great ways to take a deep breath. If you have, one of the cool things is to have flowers, because it's very normal for people to breathe in the roses to see what they smell like, or something like that you really love. So that encourages you to take a really deep breath. I'm a big fan of essential oils, so I love to use the essential oils. I may have a diffuser going this year that has some of the smells that people associate with the season, like some of the tree smells or clove or cinnamon. Obviously making sure that nobody has any allergies related to that. I even have some of that in a spray. So I could just spray it on myself as a reminder. But it's one of those things that you can, there are ways that you can control by remembering, are all my elements in balance? Because there's 7 chakras. That can be hard, but you're like, okay, earth, am I connected to the earth? Am I in a wood chair? Am I feeling like I'm teetering because people are, I'm getting agitated? So take care of that. If you feel like the water isn't flowing, that you're not able to have good conversation, or you feel like you're stuffing all your emotions, well then start drinking more water. If you feel like your fire wants to burn out of control, again, you want to ground that fire, get that energy to go down. So step away from the alcohol, step away from the spicy foods, step away from all the caffeine or sugar, because all of those things rev our energy system up. So we might want to go down a little bit on those if we can. And really, I think about, Minnie says, I'm bringing flowers as a hostess gift this year. Yes. And think about like the flower arrangements that have the sticks in them, or they have the, they might have a, some of the gourds or something like that could be in part of the arrangement. We can think about ways to have visual reminders of how we can stay balanced and how we can help other people balance. Again, with the colors, if you have, like any of the flowers that are red, orange, or yellow, well, geez, that's so prevalent, right? At Thanksgiving especially. And then make sure there's some green leaves in there, and boom, you've got all of your lower 4 chakras. You can just keep looking at that to remind yourself, okay, I want all of my energy, all of my elements in balance, just like the flower arrangement is in balance. How cool is that? So let's make sure that we can quickly and efficiently check out our energy system, so that we have this as a tool in our toolbox when we are moving through the holiday season. Because the stress that happens is because we're worried about the past holidays that we've had before and things happening the same way. And when we actually think about it that way, that's what we create, because that's how we manifest, right? Whatever we focus our attention on, that's what we manifest. So using Ed Langen he's really big about remembering to visualize what you want it to look like. So you can spend the next week or so, or a little bit of time each day, just imagining walking into the house that you're going to for the holiday, smiles being exchanged, hugs being exchanged. You can imagine everybody laughing over the meal and maybe playing games together or taking a walk outside, whatever your family likes to do. My house, we're going to be definitely watching football too. But I have that in its own room. So football is being watched in one room. Food is being served in another room. And I have games that are already set up, ready to go in a third room, so that you can kind of choose where, and everybody has an area where they can go if they need to. And we have an outdoor deck, so I'm going to make sure that it's nice and open so people can go out on the deck. So wherever you need to go, wherever you need to be, you have a moment, a place where you can feel at home and comfortable. So visualize that for yourself wherever you're going. Okay, if I need a timeout, I'm going to go into the bathroom, or I'm going to go downstairs into this one room, or I'm going to go into the kitchen and wash dishes. I have someone who I know who's gets very nervous, and washing dishes soothes her. So lots of times she just starts, loading the sink. And it's not because things are bad, it's because it's what grounds her and helps her. So when she's at my house, I let her do it because I know it's helping her relax. And hey, if somebody likes to do the dishes, let them, right? One less thing for me to do. So let's take a couple of deep breaths and get ourselves nice and grounded. And I am going to encourage you to use your heart to ground, because those lower 3 chakras, especially in the holidays, we have a lot of connection to our family and our friends that happens in those chakras. So we can get a little wobbly. So if you imagine that heart creating a cord that goes down through the solar plexus, down through the sacral chakra, down through the root chakra, and all the way out through the bottom to the very center of the earth, allowing it to connect to that molten lava center. And I invite you to imagine that cord expanding to the size of a cylinder. Widening and stretching so that it's even more anchoring, but it also allows more divine flow to go through it. And then from the heart, sending another cord of connection to go through the throat, third eye, out the crown, all the way up to the divine in the center of creation. And gently allowing that cord to expand to the size of a cylinder. Allowing infinite love and infinite light to flow to you and through you in each direction, vibration, frequency, and dimension that you're able to connect to. And now taking a moment to just notice your root chakra at the tailbone, that beautiful red color. And just imagine that orb filling so it's a nice shape of a ball, spinning, and grounding as it spins. And moving up to the sacral chakra below the belly button and visualizing that orange ball. Again, nice and full and round and bright. And spinning gently. And up to the solar plexus and connecting to our yellow ball of light. Making sure it is round and balanced. And a bright yellow color. No dark spots. And then gently up to the heart where it's beautiful and green. Maybe a little bit of pink mixed in. feeling that balance. And just taking a moment to be aware of just those 4 elements being balanced and how grounding and centering just that is. And now moving up into the throat, to that beautiful blue orb, making room for the divine connection to come in and for our authentic truth to be spoken gently, lovingly, kindly. And that purple at the third eye. And nice and round, gently spinning. And at the top of the head, the crown, that beautiful golden white color. Full and open. And just take a moment to imagine one of the holiday events that you're going to, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or a business party. Notice what just happened to your energy when you thought of it. And gently restoring balance to the root and the second, the solar plexus and the heart, the throat, the third eye and the crown. Even while you're connected to that energy. Showing that you can hold your balance, you can be yourself. You do not have to collapse to be around others. Take a deep breath in. Blow out any energy that doesn't serve you. And gently come back into this moment. See how quick we could do that? It didn't have to be hard. It didn't have to be difficult. And I'm sure when we brought in the energy, because I felt the shift for a lot of people of the holidays, all of a sudden the energy collapsed a little bit. Not fully, but a little bit. So notice one of your best defenses, or the best way for self-care, is for you to make sure you're grounded and that you've balanced your energy before you even step foot in the door of any holiday event. Okay? Because then you are most in your own energy, at least for that moment. And then when you feel it shift, then you take a deep breath and you ask your energy to restore to balance. Even if it's just saying, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, please be balanced with inside of me. And maybe for you, that's connecting to wearing a rainbow scarf or rainbow socks that help you see all the energy, all the colors, and remind your chakras to stay balanced, right? So Lindsay June was saying she's thinking of bringing herbs and clear glass ornaments for her family to make after dinner. Herbal ornaments are my favorite way to incorporate the elements. Yes, that would be lovely. And imagine if you, had a holiday spray that you sprayed them with, like grounding blend, and allowed that to be part of that. Because really it's about being yourself. And sometimes the holidays can bring out the beauty and the wonder, and they can also bring out the skeletons from the closet. You get to choose what kind of season you're going to have. And I find that the more things we have to connect to, the better we're able to hold ourselves and have joy and love in the holidays, which is really what they're meant to be. Because remember, the holidays are holy days, right? They're meant to be sacred. They're meant to be connective. They're meant time for us to spend reconnecting and remembering how important family and friends are in our life and everything. I also encourage you, to, if you have something that will help you as a ritual feel more grounded, feel more connected, do that. Do that before you have to go, or do that after. Maybe you do a burn release, of you write down all the things that, have happened over the years at the holidays that you worry about them happening again. And you write them down and you ask the divine to heal the energy and take it away so it no longer has to be part of your family dynamic. How powerful would that be? And yes, it's great when we can do it in the full moon or the new moon and use that energy, but it's still just as powerful when we're trying to help heal ourselves and our family dynamic so we can remember how to connect from a joyful, unconditional love place. Hi, April. Nice to have you here. So how are you going to, what are some ways that you are going to connect to your elements, your elemental energy to help you navigate this holiday season? So Lindsay was saying she was going to do herbs and glass ornaments for her family. Minnie is going to bring flowers as the hostess gift. What tips do you have that help you keep grounded? Or what are you going to avoid doing that you've done in the past? One of the things that, like I said, I put boundaries on, arguing at the holidays. It's okay to have, a spirited debate, but I don't know. No politics at the dinner table. Might digest our food better that way, right? Or politics can only be spoken outside on the porch. Kind of like when people who still smoke cigarettes, right? You got to go outside to do that. You want to talk politics, okay, but you got to go outside to do that. Who knows? What's the boundary that you might self? Lindsay's saying she's going to drench herself in the doTERRA grounding blend. Yes. The grounding blend, which is, it's called Balance. I have a grounding blend that I sell in spray form and in roller balls. If you want that quickly, you can just message me. I'll get that out in the mail to you tomorrow if you need it. Those are great things that can help you kind of navigate. What else might there be, because when you take action, you get to create what you want. And we all have tools in our toolbox. So, that's a big thing. Renee's saying, even my poli-sci family doesn't talk politics anymore. My mom was a poli-sci major. My stepfather was. They have PhDs in that. And my mom, understands that that's not dinner conversation. I love having the energy of you're with people that you haven't seen. Find out what's going on. Connect with their life and what they love. What do you love doing these days? What are your hobbies? What do you wish you could do? What's your favorite color? Because we all grow and we change. And we make all these assumptions that we know them. So it's like, oh, well, I already know everything about you. I don't need to talk with you. Why not? You know, they might have some interesting stories. And why not play together instead, right? Get our inner children out of the box and let them have fun. Remember when you were a kid, how boring it was to just sit there when everybody was talking? So what games could you play? What things can you get people to shift? Thanks, Neshi, for linking my sanctuary and my website. Yeah, what can you do to support you? And you don't have to answer now. You don't have to put it in the comments. But I would love for you to take some time to think about that, because that's how we manifest. That's how we create. When we focus on what we want it to look like. We want people laughing, hugging, connecting, smiling. Maybe they're sad to leave. They're not in a hurry to run out the door. You don't even recognize how much time has passed. Yeah. I love to have food that everybody loves too. So yeah, maybe that means I make a couple different things, you know. And I have to. My son and his girlfriend are vegan. And a lot of the stuff that they can eat, I can't because I'm allergic to. But that doesn't mean that doesn't get made in its own container and its own dishes, and everybody respects that. But I can do that, and I can make sure that they have a full meal and not just salad, right? They have this cool veggie roast that they love, and so we're going to have that. So Lindsay says she brings oracle cards. Hi, Janet. Nice to have you. Yeah, you can do oracle cards. You can do readings. You could do arts and crafts. Who knows? It depends on who you are, what you love to do, and how contagious can you make your joy so that other people want to participate. So do the best you can to keep your elements in balance. It's a challenge for all of us every day, but the holidays really can be a doozy. So just, you know, and if you need some grounding blend or chakra balance blend, I have that one too. Those are tools that you can use in your toolbox, and we can make sure to get those out to you. But you know, I really encourage you to take care of you. Because you're the only one who can this holiday season. And I know there's many people who, instead of wanting to deal with family, they manifest illness so that they have an excuse not to go. How about trying something different? How about being in control of your energy and sharing that with others? So with that, you guys, I thank you for coming over to the live stream. At least I'm pretty sure I know where the snafu is happening in Be Live. So maybe we can have that fixed by tomorrow. Who knows? But if not, you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, the rest of your week. I'll be here tomorrow for Soul Connections at 7 p.m. I'll be reading oracle cards and giving some divine messages, as well as doing the healing meditation and clearing for all of you who are ready to dump some of the stuff that you don't want to take with you through the holidays. And this evening, you can watch Neshi at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our Communications from Home. And I know we have other stuff this week. I'll let you know tomorrow because it's off my radar right this second. But with that, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. And for those of you who know Ed Langen and I, we still have 3 spots open for this weekend if you want to come and learn how to transform and manifest in a multi-dimensional energy. So with that, you guys, have a great one. We'll talk soon. Bye.